Good evening, everyone, and happy Friday. Thank you for tuning into the Eventful Experience podcast by your host, Latasha Rains. Okay, so it's Friday, y'all. I hope y'all are starting to look forward to me being live on Friday. I'm definitely starting to get used to being on live on Friday and for one, remembering that I have to do this, okay? So again, as always, be sure to share the live. Invite your business owner friends out so that they can. We just chit chatting tonight, y'all. Tonight is a free for all Q&A with Latasha Rains. So vendors, small business owners, resource vendors, any questions that you may have tonight regarding vendor events or just in general business at all, drop those questions. All right, and we are just going to engage with each other tonight, network a little bit. Everybody come out and have some fun. You know what I'm saying? Let's network. Get some questions asked. Make sure whoever is in the comment section, make sure that you're following them, okay? Because this is what I'm all about, okay? Hey, Tasha, thank you for joining. We definitely have to connect. I definitely appreciate you for jumping on with me tonight. All right. Be sure to tag any of your vendors that you are acquainted with your events. Be sure to tag them, share the live so they can come on and tune in to the Eventful Experience podcast as well. Hey, cousin, how are you? Thanks for joining. All right. So, on last week, as you know, every other week I will interview a small business owner. So of course, last week we had Miss Kristen Jackson on here. I hope you guys are able to connect with her for all of your ride share on. What am I saying? Ride share rides. Again, that is a company that's strictly for women, children, and seniors. Okay, it's your women owned Uber, okay? And I don't like to compare it to that, but that is what it is. It's a rideshare company strictly for women and children, okay? Be sure to check her out, Kristen Jackson, okay? So I made a post on earlier this week and for vendors to just drop whatever questions that they have because I know that there are lots of questions and we can't answer them all at one time. However, if you drop the questions, I'll definitely do my best to make sure that I get to them all, okay? Again, share this live. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is the Eventful Experience podcast on YouTube as well as Spotify. The previous episodes are already uploaded on YouTube, so go ahead and check them out. Share it. I need to get these views up, okay, y'all? All right, I'll drop all of the other announcements and everything towards the end of the podcast. So let's just talk, y'all. All right, so I did have someone leave a question. It wasn't vendor event related, but it was business related. So I'll definitely go ahead and answer it. I'm not sure. I don't see her on here yet. But Della Hill, she had a question regarding like basically how to start with your business, how to go about getting your vendor's license, and LLCs and EINs and all of that nature. What I'll say when it comes to how to start a business, you definitely want to make sure that it's something that you enjoy doing. And I often tell people all the time, when you start a business just to start it because you think you're going to make money, it eventually is just like a job because you're not going to enjoy it. I absolutely love what I do. Okay, I don't consider this as a job. It's my business and I love it. So that'll definitely be my number one piece of advice on that, making sure that when you're starting that business that it is something that you enjoy doing, because you're going to get bored, you're going to get burned out, and eventually you're just going to quit because you don't like it and you think that you're doing it because you see somebody else doing it and you think they're making some money, so you're like, oh, I can jump on that. So again, making sure that it's something that you enjoy. Now, when it comes to your LLC, sole proprietorship, and all of those structures, you want to make sure that you are looking at the correct structure for the type of business that you are going to be in, okay? Because there's a lot of things that go into that law-wise and all of that. So you want to make sure that according to the business, the type of business that you are going to have, that you are looking at that correct entity for your business, whether it's sole proprietorship, whether it's your LLC, or whether it's a S corp or C corp. Making sure that you are looking those up according to the state that you're in, to make sure that you are going under the correct entity for that type of business. When it comes to your EIN, it's free, y'all. Go to the IRS website. go get your EIN, making sure that you're registering your business first with the state that you are in, okay? You want to make sure that your business name is not taken. So there's definitely, you want to look up on the Secretary of State business wise, search the business name. You can search business name to see if they are taken. So you definitely want to make sure that the business name is not taken. But you don't want to run into situations to where now you got a cease and desist letter and then people are trying to sue you for the business name. Do your homework, do your research first, okay? And making sure that the business name isn't taken before you register it, and then getting your EIN. I'm not sure where these companies are coming from, where they're charging people to get an EIN number and file your LLC. Don't fall into that. Like, I promise you, it's not a lot of hard work, and it's free to get an EIN number. So definitely don't let nobody charge you to go file something that they're about to do for free. Making sure that you're filing under the correct website as well. Making sure that it's the Secretary of State website in the state that you reside in, okay? Don't get caught up in these scams and all of this stuff to where people are wanting to charge you to do that simple work. That's the easy part, okay? Now, when it comes to the trade market and the trade names and all of that, you definitely want to make sure that you're connected with someone that specializes in that, because from what I've been told, now that's tedious, okay? But when it comes to your simple LLC or your entity that you want to file under your business and applying for your EIN, it's simple. It's going to the Secretary of State and the IRS, okay? So Della, I definitely hope that answered your question for you, and I don't even see you on here, but that's fine. So these are for those still going to do. Yeah, so again, it was, Latasha, it was very easy to go do your EIN and for me to file my I started out with a sole proprietorship, and then I eventually changed it to an LLC. And again, everybody's business is going to be different. You do it, of course, how you feel like you want to do it in the order. That there's no right or wrong way. Let me say that. So yes, yeah, Tasha, take it. Listen, get your 501c3. Now, here's the thing. I don't know much about the 501c3. However, if you need assistance with me leading you in the right direction with someone, I can definitely assist with that. Yeah, like it's not complicated. It's nothing that you need assistance for or need assistance with to do those. So I feel bad for the ones who have gotten I call it a scam. That's what it is to me, because you're making people feel like it's hard to do and they need to pay you to do that, and in reality you really don't. So yeah, thank you for that question, Della. I definitely appreciate it. So again, Tasha, tag your vendors chime in, let's post those questions. Yeah, it's definitely a scam. Like, I was trying to find a more professional word for it. However, it is what it is, and that's exactly what it is. So it's vendor event season, okay? I don't know how busy you guys have been, but I have been busy, and I'm grateful for it. I tell everybody, listen, God, I'm not complaining. I promise you I'm not. I'm very, very grateful. So what I will go ahead, one of the biggest things that I like to really talk about when it comes to events. Thank you, Tasha. Thank you. While we're on the subject of scamming, I may as well just go ahead and get into it. There are, unfortunately, a lot of bots, a lot of real people, let's be real about it, who are out here scamming small business owners when it comes to the vendor events. I know that I spoke on it maybe early on in the podcast when I had the guest on, is when you are signing up for these events, I want you guys to be very, very mindful and smart and use your wisdom when it comes to it, okay? Because it's a lot of sad situations that are happening here. So one of the, a few of the, what am I trying to say, Lord Jesus? A few of the tips, that's what it is, that I like to give to the business owners when they're looking for events, or if someone reaches out to them. That's really when it's a scam, when they reach out to you. Making sure that you're first going to that person's page to make sure it's a real page. That's first. And you can definitely tell when it's not a real page. If a person had just started posting their stuff on their page 2, 3 days ago, 9 times out of 10, that's not a real person. Okay. It's not a real event, anything of that nature. Outside of that, the next things you want to do, if they send you a flyer with stated event and the details and all of that, call the venue to confirm that event and to confirm that person's name. Okay. Because it could very well be that that event is going on at that day at that venue, but it's not being hosted by the person who's reached out to you. So that's the second tip that I would definitely give, is making sure that you're calling the venue to confirm that. This is another one. I don't know how to really do it, because I myself have gotten away from Cash App, from vendor events. All of my stuff is done electronically through my website for events, or I'm sending you out an invoice, because a lot of people are scamming through Cash App. And again, like you all have, like you seen a couple of months ago for the event that I was the vendor coordinator for in Georgia, literally I had 3 food truck vendors call me because someone had tried to scam them and have them send money through Cash App. So please be mindful of that, and not saying that Cash App is not a reliable source when it comes to accepting vendor payments, but just be careful with it, okay? And those are really the main 3 things. You want to make sure you're watching the person, going to check out the person's page that reached out to you, contacting the venue to confirm that event and the event host name. Okay. You always want to make sure you have the name of the person that is hosting the event. Like, give them the name of who contacted you. If that's not the name that they have on their event contract, then 9 times out of 10, that event is not real. Also, making sure that it's a legitimate Cash App. Yeah, Tasha, and I get it. And again, we haven't really connected yet, so I'm not sure of how long you have been doing events. But when I first started, of course, I was using Cash App. That was the way to go. You know what I'm saying? But because it's so much going on, there's so many scams going on, and I've even heard years ago to where from other hosts, to where, like, after the event, the vendor was going and requesting a refund from their vendor fee. So I'm like, no, I'm not. I just don't have the time to be dealing with all of that. But again, to each his own. But making sure that it's a legitimate Cash App. That's the thing. So that is the 3 tips that I have when it comes to making sure and being careful on not to get scammed during this event season, because it's happening so much, so much, to where it's sad, and it makes it hard for the ones who are doing things the right way. We have to work 10 times harder, because now I have to try to convince you that it's a real event. Like I said, the event that I was assisting with in Georgia, I was reaching out to vendors, and of course they go on my page. I live in Ohio. So they're like, so how are you working an event in Georgia if you don't live here? And again, I understand. And I, you know what I'm saying, I respect that, because they're doing their research. So you can't do anything but respect that. So that's my take on when it comes to searching for these events. Watching out with these event groups for these events. It's a scary world out here. And it's so sad that all people want to do is just sit and scam people. So that is my take on the topic. If you want to leave any feedback when it comes to that, please do. I definitely appreciate you for engaging and tuning in. Hey, if anybody is interested in events, Tasha Jones, she also does events here in the city of Columbus. So be sure to connect with her as well. Okay. So outside of that, like, let me know, like, what do y'all have going on? Like, I got a lot of stuff coming up. Okay. hey, sister. Yeah. So just making sure that you're being mindful of when you're out here signing up for these events, because like I said, it can get real crazy, and I don't want nobody losing their money. Like, we're in a time now where everybody is working extremely hard for their money. So who wants to just give it away? Like, and not know, you know what I'm saying, who the person is or anything like that. So that is going to be the first topic that we're going to talk about on today. One of the other things that I talk about all the time, and I'll try not to spend too much time on. Maybe I'll wait for that topic. I think I'm going to bring guests on for that topic, so I'll wait for that one. Okay. So let's talk about how to manage your events. And this is coming from somebody who's literally working on 6 events right now. I haven't even gotten started on my next one. However, learning how to manage your events. In my ebook, I wrote out how in the beginning of the year or either the end of the year, sitting down and writing out how many events you plan to do quarterly. Now, and again, I always say be realistic, okay? Because again, things come up. You may see a last minute event that you want to jump on. So when you're sitting down and you're writing that out, be realistic with yourself. Like with me before, I literally used to do an event 3 times out of the month. Okay. I slowed down a little bit from vending. However, I'm doing more events for vendor coordinator stuff. So like these next 2, 3 weeks, I don't have I don't have any events to do. But this last month and a half, I have been at an event every weekend. And again, some of those things are out of my control because these are contracts that I'm picking up. So, but being mindful of your body, listening to your body when it's time for you to take rest. I understand we all out here grinding, okay, and I get it, but be realistic when you're writing down your events that you want to do a quarter, okay. And when I'm saying being realistic with it, we know we want to start the year off with it, but remember that the main season of events is during the summertime. So maybe do 1 or 2 from March and April, and then the summertime you bang out. You know what I'm saying? But just being mindful and leaving that room open for other events that you may get at that you find at the last minute, or other events that others may reach out to you to do. So just being mindful with listing out the number of events that you want to do every quarter and leaving a wiggle room for those last minute events. And even when it comes to that as well, writing down a budget as far as how much you want to spend quarterly. Again, I suggest doing this quarterly because it'll make a little bit more sense for you. That way you'll know like, hey, so I've already reached this budget for this 3 months. Let me either move an event over or take an event away. But being mindful as well when it comes to budgeting and knowing what you want to spend when it comes to events. That's probably another thing that I'll definitely touch bases on, because I know that can be a topic that many vendors tend to discuss. I'll say that. When it comes to vendor fees, and I know someone had asked this question, I believe that was the very first episode of how to determine how much to pay for an event, for a vendor fee. And like I mentioned to her, like there's absolutely no way. It's entirely up to you to know which event you want to pay the right amount of money for. And my take on it always is that it does not matter how much money you spend for an event. I don't want to word this because I be trying to be like very respectful, but anybody knows me that when it comes to this, I'm very blunt. Okay. And this is just me because it's my passion. It's absolutely what I love to do. Don't look at the amount of money that you have paid for an event and think that you may get that double, triple, or quadruple in return. It may or it may not happen. Okay. It can. There's been times to where I've spent a lot of money on a vendor fee and I'm not made anything back. Or there's been time my vendor fee is being low and I've made a lot back. So again, my take on anything when it comes to these events is who did you network with? Hey Rashawn, thanks for joining. Who did you network with? Okay, so being mindful of that budget. So what I have started doing now when I'm reaching out to vendors for events, I'm leading with what is your vendor budget for an event. That way I'll know what events that I even need to present to you. Because if I know you're not going to spend $150 on the event, I'm not going to send you a flyer for an event that's $150. I'm learning to work a little bit smarter when it comes to selecting vendors because I don't want to give the whole spiel and then you're like, hey, so right now I can't, you know what I'm saying? It's not feasible for me, and that's fine. I tell everyone all the time, I don't expect you to jump on every event that you see. I don't expect you to jump on every event that I present to you. Some you can and some you can't. But vendors, keep in mind that you know what your budget is. You know what you are willing to spend when it comes to a vendor event. So I would just always say, keep that in mind when hosts are reaching out to you, and try not to get offended because a fee is a certain amount. Okay. Because again, going back to the original question from the first episode, it depends on what you are getting for that vendor fee. That's just my take on it. Okay. If I'm paying 150 for a vendor fee, what all comes with it outside of a table and chair? And again, I'm a little different when it comes to that because because I am a vendor as well. And this is what I stress to people. I'm a vendor and a vendor event host. So I am understanding from both ends of the perspective. Okay. So I want to give my vendors what I would want a host to give to me. That's just how I move when it comes to it. So if I have a vendor fee and it's $150, okay, what are you giving me? I give my vendors gifts, and they're different every time. Some event hosts, you know what I'm saying, you're not getting all of that. And again, it's not for you to question the event host on why their fee is their fee, as everybody is, the price is the price. Either it's something that you can do or something that you cannot do. But it's not a thing to bash an event host or any event host because that's the price that they chose to price. And I say it all the time, as a host, as a vendor, it is a risk. We are putting these events together. It is a risk as a vendor. So when I tell my vendors, once you sign the contract with me, it's no longer just my event. This is now our event. For us to make this a success, we have to work together. Okay? So keep that in mind when you're signing up for these events. You know what I'm saying? You know what you want to put in it. You know what you want to take away. You know what I'm saying? What you want to take away from. You can't only receive what you put in. Let me say that's what I was trying to say. Okay, y'all. So you can't expect to join an event and go in and get all of this money and make all these connections and you haven't put in any work in. Have you promoted the event? So it's a collective effort on everyone to make sure that the event is a success, no matter what the price is. Okay, I'm going to put the same amount of work into if I was working an event that was $75 or if I'm working an event that's $150, because at the end of the day, it is your brand that you are presenting. Okay, and as stated in my contract, because I had to put that there, unfortunately, I don't guarantee sales. No host can guarantee you sales. So you're risking your funds, you're risking your time, you're risking you making your product to be at this event. Just like the host, we're risking our money, we're risking our time of working the 3 months or however long they work to make sure that that event is a success. Okay. So again, going back to that, making sure that you are writing out your quarterly list of the events, the number of events that you want to participate in, knowing what your budget is for any particular event. Just knowing what your budget is, okay? And either you want to give it a little bit of wiggle room depending on the type of the event is, or you want to stay within your budget. That's entirely up to you. But I've seen people get like upset about the fee that the vendor host is charging. And you can't do that because just like you want people to come in and purchase your merchandise at your price, it's the same thing for us, okay? So keep that in mind. Again, those tips are when you are researching, making sure that you're researching for events. When you're ready to sign up for an event, or if someone reaches out to you, making sure that you're doing your research just to make sure that that is a legitimate event, okay? We are not trying to get scammed out here. We are working entirely too hard, okay, for somebody to just come take our money, all right? So again, the second thing is making sure that you are writing out a quarterly list of how many events you want to do. Don't overwork yourself, okay? We're working smart, okay? We got to make sure that we're healthy, because if you're not healthy, you can't run the business anyway, right? So outside of writing that list, you want to make sure that you have a budget that you want to make sure that you pay. How do I want to word it? So it's two different ways you can do it. So I know a friend of mine, she actually does a budget quarterly to how much she wants to spend on events quarterly, okay? So you can either do it that way, or you can just have a set amount that you know you don't want to pay for an event, okay? So either way, however you decide to do it is how you do it and what works for you. Okay. For me, it depends on the event. Like if it's something that I know that I want to do and I want to make that sacrifice and I want to pay it, then I'll pay it. And it's not me going into the expectation of, oh, I might make all this bunch of money. No, okay, this person might be there, that person might be there. Let me see who I can meet, who I can network with, who I can connect with. You know what I'm saying? That's my take on it now when it comes to these events. All right. So again, if anyone has any questions, I don't want to be the only one sitting here talking. Okay. I want to answer your questions. That's what tonight is about. So if you have any questions, drop the questions for me. Let me know, like, is anybody vending this weekend? What events are you doing? And, let's just go from there. Thanks for joining, sister. Yes, busy and blessed, Tasha. Like, seriously, that's what it's been. And I'm grateful for it. Like, grateful for it. And we are definitely going to connect. Like I said, Latasha Jones, if you are in Columbus, she hosts events as well. Be sure to connect with her because I'm all about networking. Y'all know that. All right. So it is 7:30. Again, like I told y'all, I don't plan on being on here long at all. I'm not going to hold you all. I will be back on next Friday. Next Friday, I do have a guest. Remember, every other week there will be an interview with the business owner. Okay. So again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for always engaging with me. I love y'all. Okay. So again, as always, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Eventful Experience Podcast, and it's also the Eventful Experience Podcast on Spotify. Be sure to subscribe. Old episodes, older previous episodes are already posted. Go back and listen to them. Connect with those business owners that are on there. Be sure to get with me. Again, I'm open for more interviews. If you're interested in placing an ad on the podcast, if you're interested in placing a commercial on the podcast, reach out to me, all right? Contact number 614-379-2459. Again, website, LatashaPRains.com. I just dropped the Eventful Experience magazine. Go check it out, dog. I promise you, it's super dope. Behind the scenes with Events by Tasha, behind the scenes with my Kids and Biz Expo vendors, business owner ads, business directory. I promise you, you won't be disappointed in that. While you're there, go ahead and grab that ebook, the Event Endeavors, a Vendor's Toolkit to Mastery, 50-page ebook for you. And upon completion of the ebook, you get an hour free consultation with your girl, Tasha Rains. Okay. And again, thank you for tuning in to the Eventful Experience Podcast with your host, Latasha Rains. Enjoy the rest of your night and God bless.